Hi, I'm Nico and I'm developing a 3D platformer where you play as a fish trying to escape from a sushi restaurant. In this devlog, we are adding our first enemy. As you can see, it's a squid. Concept and design. To add depth to the design, I was inspired by two things. The first is a headband that some traditional sushi chefs wear, which might connect to the final boss. No spoilers. The second is a popular food in Japan, ikayaki, or grilled squid. That's why I added those characteristic cuts as well as a stick that uses as weapon. Since this will be the first enemy you face, its mechanics needs to be simple, and the design should communicate that. I want the enemy to be defeated not only by shooting, but also by jumping on it, as jumping is an important mechanic. Also, players might already have this interaction in mind from platformers like Mario. The problem is that the squid's body ends in a sharp point, which signals danger. The player will never try to jump on it if it is standing upright. That's why I decided to curve it, letting it fall backward, to create a surface that doesn't seem threatening. That's also where the scars are, indicating some vulnerability. The squid's height is important. It should be high enough to force the player to make a high jump or an air jump, but low enough to be achievable. Its attack will be an area attack, around itself at a low height, so the player can dodge it with a good jump, but they will take damage if they don't. It should also have a wind-up animation that signals the squid is about to attack, giving the player time to react and dodge. What I haven't decided yet is whether the enemy will move or not. Depending on the level's needs, it could be either static or a moving enemy. To keep the difficulty low at the beginning, it might start as a static enemy and move in later levels. 3D modeling. I started with a cylinder, which is the closest shape to its body, tapering it to form the point. On the sides, I transformed a few faces into circles and extruded them to form the eye sockets. I decided to have the tentacles extend parallel to the ground rather than downwards as in the drawing. Since the squid will be standing, it will be easier to pose and animate. So I extruded each tentacle individually from the cylinder's outer faces. As you can see, there are 10 tentacles, 8 short ones and 2 longer arms with little hands. Finally, I didn't add any suction cups because I realized there will be an imperceptible detail, and it was better to simplify the design and geometry. For the scars, I generated some cylinders, multiplied them using an array modifier, and subtract them from the main object as a Boolean operation. I really like how the headband turned out. It's a hollow cylinder with rotated axes and individually extruded faces. I softened it with a subdivision surface modifier. I finished the squid by applying subdivision modifier and a triangulate modifier to fix the endguns created by the Boolean operation. Implementation. The character body, in addition to its skeleton, meshes, and corresponding collision, has an area that will register collisions received on top of the head. an area to detect and attack the player, and 3 timers. 1 for controlling the wind-up of the attack, 1 for the spinning animation, and 1 for cooldowns. For now, since I haven't made the animations, part of the code handles movement like spinning and flattening, which will be replaced later. I'm really proud because I designed all the attack behavior logic and code on my own, without looking up tutorials or searching online. The only thing I asked ChatGPT was how to detect if the collision with the squid's vulnerable area came from above. And thanks to Reddit, I found a way to make the squids rotate gradually to face the player. The squid detects when you enter its attack zone, and if it can attack you, it prepares and spins around. If you remain in the attack area, you take damage. Since there's no health systems yet, I reuse the dash function to knock you back. I also implemented a stun that prevents you from performing any actions until it ends. So this is how the squid looks in game. You can see that if I get close, it backups a bit before spinning, and if I'm in the area when it's attacking, it knocks me back and stuns me for a moment, so I can jump or move after getting hit. Now, if I get close, I can jump to dodge it. You can see the cooldown between attacks, so you can dodge it not only by jumping, but also by stepping back. If I shoot it, it gets flattened. You can also defeat it by jumping on it. Trust me, that's working as intended. It seems pretty easy to avoid in this controlled situation, but when we put it in a less controlled scenario, like giving the player less space to move, it becomes harder to deal with. Here, for example, the player is forced to perform a high jump and an air jump to defeat it. If I don't do the high jump, I won't reach it. Another option is to shoot it so I can reach it without any problems. But, for instance, in this other situation, clearly I could shoot it too, but let's imagine I have already used my shot. If I try to do a high jump and an air jump like before, I won't make it. Okay, so what I have to do is bait it, make it waste its attack, and quickly come back. We can see how using the same squid in different situations creates different levels of difficulty. I think for a first enemy, its difficulty level is appropriate. What do you think? Do you like this character? Coming soon. Now that we need the ability to take damage, my next goal will be to program a health system. Since the respawn depends on water, and I have already implemented shooting, I will also be working on the breathing timer, which will complete all the water-related mechanics. That's all for this devlog. I hope you like it, and I will see you in the next one.